Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Katherine Young and I'm a creative. This video is a bit of a vulnerable video. It's also different than my typical content, but with the holiday season here, it is something that's really been on my heart that I wanted to get out. So this video is going to be tips and tricks that I use when I'm alone to not feel lonely. Now, I've seen other videos on YouTube that kind of touches on this topic of being alone, loneliness, not having friends, but many of them they just didn't resonate with me. A lot of the videos on being alone are posted by people with extreme pretty privilege that have huge social followings, or they're in like lifestyle spaces and almost like religious thought leaders. I've also seen videos posted by women about having no friends, but these women are married, and so they kind of have like a built-in best friend with them always. And so that doesn't resonate with me either, as a single woman who has been single for 10 years, who has lived alone for 10 years, and I do almost everything alone. The idea for this video really came up to the forefront again in some of my women's support groups on Facebook. A lot of younger women are posting how they're really afraid to be alone, and it's because of that loneliness feeling. I'm not talking about safety issues, totally different topic. I'm talking about these women being afraid to do things alone because they don't want to feel lonely and they don't want to feel like they're not accepted by society. Now, I do want this to be an active conversation where we can share our thoughts, tips, and tricks about being alone but not lonely. So, if you have anything to add that might help somebody else, please leave it below in the comments. I'm sure other people would love to see all the bits of advice they can find. We are going to start off with holiday tips because 'tis the season. Now, I have spent more holidays alone as an adult this past 20 years than I have celebrating with other people. And really, for me, it has been about distance, it has been about my employment, and it has been about finances. And lots of people do not have the privilege of a perfect family holiday. So many of us work holiday shifts to make the world keep running while other people spend time with their families. From first responders to frontline workers, there are all kinds of people that do not get the holidays off. Many can't financially afford to do the holidays. Some people just don't have a family to spend the holidays with. Illness, especially chronic illness, can be a big reason why you miss holiday activities as well. And here's the thing, all of these are valid stories of how you spend the holidays. One isn't more important than the other. But our society, our culture, only lifts up one story. They lift up the perfect family holiday where everyone gets together, but that's not everyone's story. And that concept has been really helpful for my mental health when I'm alone on the holidays, realizing I'm not the only one by far. And we get bombarded with it by our society. There is commercials, TV shows, movies, advertisement. It all lifts up this one narrative. Gosh, you go on social media even. People only post pictures of their perfect family together, large photo shoots. All this all supports this narrative of this one perfect holiday experience. And the rest of us that don't have that, we just remain silent because we think it's not what you're supposed to have, what you're supposed to show. And so it looks like there's only one experience of the holiday, and that's absolutely not true. And every single experience of the holiday is valid. And just kind of rethinking that in my mind truly has helped me. Another tip I have for the holidays is to keep your routine. I find that if I keep my routine on the holidays, it can help the day pass quickly and it can stop me from kind of wallowing and getting into a bad mental health space. If I don't keep my routine, if I don't get ready for the day, if I don't do the things I typically do for the day, my mental health can go way off track and I can see all these posts on social media and I start feeling bad about myself and my situation. But if I keep my routine, if I get ready for the day, if I go to the gym, if I fill my day up with different things, the day passes like any other day. I also highly recommend doing something special for yourself on the holiday, even if it isn't what's traditionally in line with that holiday. And I'll explain what I mean. So you might not have the holiday off. Maybe you don't have that luxury. But sometime around the holiday, take time to do something special for yourself. Or it could be on the day of the holiday. Just take time to do something special. And it doesn't have to be in line with what is expected for the holiday. So, like on Thanksgiving, you don't have to have turkey and gravy. In fact, I typically do Chinese takeout on Thanksgiving. I have for many years, and I love it. I consider it something special because I love Chinese takeout, and I consider that doing something special for myself. I also will maybe go get a special dessert, or I will pick up some flowers for myself. I will still celebrate Thanksgiving in a way that is special to me, even if it doesn't align with what the holiday is supposed to be. Now, this next tip is for the holidays, but it's also a great tip about being alone and not being lonely every day of the year. I also try to spend my time actively passing time instead of passively passing time. And I'll explain what I mean. So, if you're actively passing time, it's something where your brain is making decisions. It's something where you're actually engaged. It's something where you're doing something. Maybe you're working with your hands, maybe you're moving your body, but it's something that you're actively engaged with where your attention is on something else. Hobbies, physical activities, going out to things like concerts or lectures, farmers markets, festivals, going for a hike. These kind of things are active. And when you're actively engaged in something, you're more focused on the thing than you are on yourself and being alone. So for me, one of my hobbies is YouTube, making YouTube videos. It takes up a ton of time. I don't have time to feel lonely when I'm creating these videos. This is a lot of work to do. I also scrapbook. I absolutely love that. I love to travel. I love going vintage and antique shopping. I love to thrift. These are all active ways that I pass my time. Now, this is different than passively passing time. Passively passing time is just sitting there and kind of letting time pass. Something like this would be watching reruns on TV. Now, I love YouTube and podcasts, but you can sometimes kind of zone them out and just be watching. I highly recommend YouTube videos and podcasts that like teach you something. Those will keep you more active versus passively consuming. And also, if you want to make sure that your mind is staying active when you're consuming these kinds of pieces of content, take notes. Taking notes is a really great way to keep your mind engaged. Also, I almost forgot reading. That is a great way to actively pass time and it keeps your brain engaged. And the same tip applies. If you find your mind wandering, take notes. Also, scrolling through social media, mindless games on your phone, this is all passive ways to pass time and it allows your mind to wander. Not only that, you go on social media on the holidays and you will get bombarded by traditional imagery of what the holiday is supposed to be. And that might not be great for your mental health either. So I highly recommend actively passing time. Go do something, go find something to do instead of just passively passing the time. Now, you may say, Catherine, how do I find these things? How do I find something actively to do? Online is a great way to find ways to actively pass time. You go into YouTube and you start searching your interests, you will start finding communities. It'll happen. You'll start finding them. You don't feel alone when you're sitting in a chat with people from around the world talking about something you love. Twitch is also a great platform for this. I also highly recommend going onto Instagram, searching in the locations in your city, and seeing what has been posted. A lot of local businesses will post event announcements in Instagram and Facebook, and they'll tag the location and you can see what's coming up and things to do. Facebook events is also a great place, neighborhood.com, and I also highly recommend Meetup. Meetup is a great place to find events to take part in. I also recommend your local libraries, your local bookstores, your local community education if you have it. They have all kinds of opportunities for active participation. I also love online learning platforms like Skillshare and Creative Live. When you're learning, you're engaging your brain and doing active engagement, and the time passes so quickly. Now let's talk about passively passing time and being alone in public places. I have seen so much anxiety around going to a coffee shop alone, eating out alone, going to the movies alone, working out alone, going to a concert alone, or traveling alone. And again, I'm not talking about safety issues, okay? There's classes you can take about traveling alone that help with safety issues, absolutely. But I'm just talking about the anxiety of feeling lonely or feeling like everyone's looking at you. The biggest tip I have about doing these things alone is, you go get a cup of coffee alone. You do just kind of stare at your cup or scroll through social media. It's a very passive experience, and I can see how that can raise the anxiety. But here's the tip I'm going to give you: no one is looking at you because we're all too full of our own lives. It's true. When is the last time you noticed somebody was alone in public? When? I mean, I'll wait, but when was the last time you noticed that? I'm sure you didn't. And especially like at a movie, oh come on, I just paid like 18 bucks to go see this thing. You being alone is not as important to me as getting my 18 bucks worth of watching that movie. Same with the gym. I can't tell you if somebody was at the gym with a friend or alone. I wasn't noticing. In fact, I was too concerned about people looking at me to notice you. So just that's my biggest tip for that, is just realize we're all too self-centered to be worrying about what you're doing. And I do know my experience in a large city is very different from the experience in a small town. In a small town, you know more people, see more people you know, where in a larger city, I do have the privilege of anonymity. But trust me, it still applies. Everyone is still very much self absorbed. Another tip I have is to have interest based friends. Having interest based friends really gives you an excuse to get out and to see people when those interests pop up. So for me, I love concerts. I go road tripping with all kinds of friends from around the world, and we go to different concerts. I also love vintage, so I do stuff here on the vintage community. I do this YouTube channel, so I have friends through YouTube. Interest based friends are really, really important, especially if you're somebody who's alone a lot of the time. And when you think about it, interest based friends is just what other people do who have large families. Usually their interests are like their kids' activities, right? So they meet up with other parents that also have kids of the same age. So interest based friends are a really great way to find people to spend time with. And then this tip does come with some privilege, and I understand that, but I highly, highly recommend pets. Like I said, I know this comes with the ability to have pets. Some people can't because of allergies, their personal schedule, finances, where they live, all the things. I understand. But I can tell you, my pets have absolutely saved my life. And gosh, this is the part of the video I'm going to get emotional. My pets have been my best friends the last 20 years, and I couldn't do this life without them. So just, I'm just putting it out there. A pet is a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. Adopt, don't shop. I absolutely recommend rescue pets. I absolutely recommend senior pets. But yeah, pets are everything. Because if you have a pet, you aren't doing it alone, whether it's a rough day or a wonderful day. There's always someone there. My next tip is to always have something to look forward to. Now, this may be a weird one. You may think this is a weird tip, but I swear to you, this has saved my mental health for the past 20 plus years always have something to look forward to. I am always the person who's planning my next concert, who's planning my next road trip, who's booked a lecture, I have things on my calendar to look forward to. And because there's that anticipation of looking forward to this thing to do, I'm not as focused on the now and whether the now is good enough or it allows my mind to wander to something of joy, to something I'm excited about. And yeah, that actually might be the most powerful tip I have, because always having something to look forward to has been a game changer for my mental health. And my last tip is to do the special things now. Don't wait for somebody to do them with. If you want to see that movie and no one else wants to go, go to that movie. Heck, buy yourself the flowers. I always buy myself the flowers. Buy what you want. If you want beautiful diamond jewelry and you're waiting for someone to buy you it, buy yourself diamond jewelry. If there's a trip you always thought you would go on for a honeymoon or some kind of couples trip, book the trip. Don't wait for someone to do something you absolutely love in your life. I know a lot of people kind of have this idea that they'll wait, that they'll do the thing later. Don't wait. Do the special things now. You deserve it now more than ever. Do the special things. Okay, that is it, y'all. That is all I have. And I do really want this to be a conversation. So if you have any tips, any tricks, any anecdotes that you would like to share that you think would help somebody else, please leave them in the comments below. I would truly appreciate it, and I'm sure somebody else would too. And you have a happy holidays, no matter what that looks like for you, and stay creative, and bye.